that our security must be people-driven, must be people-based, but it is a security that must be based on a common ideal and a common desire for a freer and better world. And I think he has done so with such grace, such dignity, and such acuity. And I'd like us to try and unpack some of these things as we go forward, and to see how we can blend them into the new foreign policy stance that we are seeking as we leave this conference. That sense of common security was also seen in the battles we were fighting for vaccine inclusion, for a trade that integrates Africa better into the world order. It is a sense that we all have a right to exist, and we all have a right to live in a world that enables each country, each person, to appropriate opportunity and to grow and to be valued. The third thing that I saw President Kenyatta do very, very well was to engage in actions for peace, actions for fundamental peace. And we have seen him tackle issues regarding peace and security with a view to reaching stability based on negotiated settlements, based on the principle of reconciliation, based on the principle of give and take. This idea that if you want to move forward with people, there has to be a yielding. And that yielding is a cost to the self, but a bonus to your opponent. And we've seen him do it, even here in Kenya, with the handshake, which many people have belittled. But what was that? It was a yielding. It was a yielding in favor of the country. You have to give up something. There has to be sacrifice for peace. There has to be sacrifice for stability. There has to be sacrifice for hope. And these are the messages that we have been articulating as we have been dealing with the crises in our region, whether the difficulties that Ethiopia went to, whether the difficulties Sudan has been going through, or South Sudan, or Eastern Congo now. What are we saying to our brothers in Eastern Congo is that there has to be a yielding. There has to be a yielding so that the force of belligerence can be diffused. It can be deflected and used as an instrument for hope. And I see it so plainly when I see President Kenyatta dealing with his colleagues in the region. His message has always been yield. Yield for peace, yield for space, yield for people. So I want us to look at how those actions for peace either are a continuation of previous actions for peace that were driven by President Kenyatta's predecessors, by President Kibaki, by President Moi. Is there something about the way in which we Kenyans think about peace that we need to crystallize and define in ways that others are able to learn from? It's not enough for our leaders and for our ambassadors and for all of us who engage in foreign policy not to be able to crystallize these things into philosophies, into principles, so that they can be taught to others. So in your reflections, reflect about our actions for peace. Are they unique, or are they just an extension of what others do? How do we engage? And why do we feel as a country that it is our obligation not only to seek peace internally, but also to seek peace in our near and far environments. And one of the things that I am pleased that President Kenyatta was able to do was to take the issue of diversity, the challenge of managing diversity, right to the United Nations Security Council. And you know, while we were there, everybody thought that that challenge was an African thing. That it's only Africans that can't deal with